Despite Bitcoin being at $59,000 and we got Mount GoxFUD and we've got German government selling 50,000 Bitcoin FUD, Samson Mow is not bearish. If anything, he's wildly bullish. Have a look what he just tweeted out. You may doubt Bitcoin will reach $1 million within the next year, but you'll see. So today we're going to be having a look at what Samson might know that most people don't know. We're also going to be looking at a new tweet thread dropped by Willy Woo, looking at some on-chain data. And we're also going to show you why the Bitcoin whales continue to buy Bitcoin despite it being under $60,000. So let's get straight into this, guys. We're going to start by telling this story with Samson and what he said yesterday. So, well, this was actually early today. Samson said, everyone selling Bitcoin now will regret it within a year. I'm talking biggest mistake of my life level of regret. Deathbed lamentation level of regret. I apologize if I pronounced those words wrong. But Samson's on a spree. He also tweeted this one today. Well, this one was actually yesterday. You may doubt Bitcoin will reach $1 million within the next year, but you'll see. So what does Samson know that we all don't? Because he's incredibly bullish, okay? And I think not many people are bullish, okay? Not bullish enough in particular, okay? Well, we can see a lot of other whales are actually buying a lot of Bitcoin right now. So we showed you this little meme in the live stream from about 5 minutes ago. Mount Gox selling their Bitcoin to the whales. Now, there's a lot more than just a meme. There's some data behind this. I didn't show you this data on my personal YouTube channel live stream. I wanted to show you guys today. Because again, this is the bullish live stream. Okay, earlier today, I made the bearish case. I made an argument that all the bears are making. I showed you all of the reasons why Bitcoin could be bearish right now and why Mount Gox is selling and all of that. Today, we're going to cover the bullish reasons, okay? Because again, I like to show you guys both sides of the story. So the most interesting side of the story is what the whales are doing. Again, some people don't like whale watching. Again, we're not using this to trade. I think that's a big misconception. I like to keep an eye on what the whales are doing, but we're not trading Bitcoin in the short term. We don't do that. But we can see whales have been aggressively buying Bitcoin since June 16th in a big way. In a very, very big way. What's interesting about this chart is whales actually sold a lot of Bitcoin before this most recent dump. Okay, if we were to actually put this on a chart for you guys to put this in a little bit more perspective, so to say, I'd love to try to pull up a short-term chart, because if you have a look at the short-term chart of Bitcoin, we've just been absolutely bleeding over the past, month. And this has got a lot of people bearish. Okay, but you can see on the short-term chart, the whales sold that massive chunk of Bitcoin. Can't find on the chart. About here, June 10. So when Bitcoin is at about $69,000. Have a look at that. Let me zoom that out a bit so you guys can get the context. Again, I hate really zoomed in charts that, they're zoomed in or they're framed a certain way to try to manipulate their biases. So you see this in the gold space a lot. The gold bugs will post like a one-day chart of gold going parabolic, but it's only up by like 2%. And if you zoom out, gold's down over the past 5 years if you account for inflation. So let's zoom out. Let's not commit chart crime. You guys can see this is when the whales sold their Bitcoin at about $70,000. And I'm going to put another line on the chart showing you where they began buying again. Literally today and yesterday. Okay? Well, sorry, the whales have been buying for a couple of days now. So interesting. That's all we're going to say. We just think that is interesting. But let's have a look. There's a lot more going on than just whales aggressively accumulating this dip, like we can see here with this green chart that is going on. I think Pumba, before I show you the next chart, puts it nicely. Bear trap, boys. Keep calm and hodl. Okay, I think that is what it's all about. Now, here's a new video of Samson I want to show you guys. Well, I haven't seen it. Maybe it's brand new, but it got posted today over on the Jan 3 Twitter account. So I want to play it because it, again, talks about the magnitude of people out there. I think, again, I love numbers and I love putting things into perspective. So let's listen to this one and then we might have a chin wag about it. Okay, so this is in Hindi, but essentially, I'm not going to play it for you guys. But you can see here that there are 1.4 billion potential Bitcoin users in India. Nearly half of them speak Hindi. There's a lot of people waiting to be orange pilled about Bitcoin. Now, I did say I was going to play you a Samson video, so now I'm going to play you one because, again, I think it's a good hype video. It was made by someone who I think is the best Bitcoin editor in the space, Healand. And I'm going to play the video for you guys because I think it might make everyone a little bit more bullish. Okay, we got tens and hundreds of billions of dollars that are all going to hit Bitcoin. Okay, if you missed our interview with Samson Mow, we would recommend you check it out. But again, I think a lot of people are bearish Bitcoin right now. I think we need to really put things into perspective. Whales are buying Bitcoin. If you have a look at Samson's tweet where he says everyone selling Bitcoin right now will regret it within a year, I always love to have the comments because the comment section gives you a good kind of feel for sentiment in the space. So this comment here is a funny one. Top 5 regrets of dying in 2025. I wish I listened to Samson Mow and not sold my Bitcoin. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. So as you can see, the most important regret is not selling Bitcoin. Okay, that is the regret. We got more Bitcoiners trying to stack the dip, going into the bank, borrow more fiat to stack the dip. Absolutely love to see it. Want to talk more about Samson's comments in a moment, but got a great question here. So Michael, who left a great question in the earlier live stream as well. So thank you, Michael. He says, most people in India store their wealth in gold. That's actually 100% true. There is actually a lot. I think India actually it's India or China, but they have, they're the two countries that have the most gold holders in the world. Okay. Not by sheer amount, but by people, users. Everyday people. It's very common. It's just culturally more accepted and more normal in India to store a lot of your wealth in gold. And obviously China has this, the Chinese have been trying to get capital out of the country for years. So gold is obviously okay for that. Okay. So great question, Michael. You're 100% on the money there. Speaking of live chat, let's check it out. Okay, Chris must have enjoyed that video. He's popping orange pills and feeling pretty buzzed right now. That's good, Chris. We like to see that. We got Dan in the chat. So where is that video that you had that shows you're at different levels of Bitcoin, shrimp, whale, etc.? So for those who missed that video, you're a whale if you have like 1,000 Bitcoin. If you have less than 0.1 Bitcoin, I believe you're a shrimp. And if you have like between 0.1 Bitcoin and 1 Bitcoin, I believe you're classified as like a crab, something like that. And the video that I made on that topic, I believe it was posted here earlier in the year. It was a Bitcoin news video from memory. And I believe might have been this one here where I was showing you how 0.015 Bitcoin makes you rich. Full breakdown. Believe that's the video, or it could have been this one here, the double Bitcoin halving. So let me make sure I share my screen so you can see what I can see, Dan. But I believe it was the double Bitcoin halving one, or this one here, how 0.015 Bitcoin makes you rich. So that will show you how much Bitcoin you do need to be rich. Now, again, I want to talk more about this tweet from Samson. Because a lot of people are kind of they come into what's actually happening with these engagement tweets that we're getting with Germany selling their Bitcoin. So we can see here, Fernando says, people love to use the term dump to get engagement. Germany has $3 billion of Bitcoin and has only sold a small portion of that. Okay? It doesn't mean they're going to dump everything. Mount Gox isn't dumping any Bitcoin. They're repaying creditors. Some may choose not to sell. And as we showed you guys in the live stream earlier, that $9 billion number is complete and utter baloney. Okay, it's not true. It's fake. Yes, there was $9 billion worth of Bitcoin lost in Mount Gox at the time that it went bankrupt in 2013. That's not correct, actually. Sorry. Yes, there's $9 billion worth of Bitcoin lost in Mount Gox, but we can see here that the Mount Gox creditors are being paid $483 per Bitcoin in Bitcoin, okay? That's 0.008 Bitcoin per Bitcoin held at the time. So Marty Party says the $9 billion becomes only $72 million that's going to be paid to creditors. And he quotes a source from Reuters. I don't know exactly how you say that, but please let me know. So we can see today, all of those coins will be worth $6-7 billion. Okay. So again, that's something that also doesn't quite get, spoken about a lot. It's great engagement, as we're talking about. It's great engagement to just use the number. Oh, Mount Gox is dumping $9 billion worth of Bitcoin. Like if I make that the title for a video, I guarantee you guys, it's going to get a lot of clicks. It's going to get a lot of views, but it's not true. Okay. It's wrong. It's false. Okay. I like to have interesting titles. But again, we always like to, I'm not going to make a title unless it's true and we can back it up with facts in the video. Okay. So again, this is a great point that was kind of highlighted here in the tweet we were just looking at. It is very common for people just to be throwing around these FUD numbers and, people get scared and you have to ask yourself, why? Why do we continue to see all this Mount GoxFUD? And what's interesting is, as we can see on this chart here, all of this Mount GoxFUD gets recycled at the bottom. Every single time when Bitcoin's crashing, they bring out the Mount GoxFUD, and it's just very interesting the timing that we do see that. I'm not saying that Bitcoin's bottoming right now, okay? Nobody knows where the price of Bitcoin is going to go in the short term. I do think it's interesting that whales are buying though, and we're seeing the same, just wrong, recycled Mount GoxFUD over and over again. That's all I'm going to say. The last thing I'm going to say is I think Samson is right. I think he's directionally correct. And if you want to learn a lot more about his thesis for $1 million Bitcoin, and you missed our interview a couple of months ago of Samson, you can check it out. It's on screen right here. I highly recommend you guys check it out. And I think it's bullish. Speaking of bullish, we've got McLovin in the chat. I don't think he's missed the live stream that we've done. That's bullish. Okay, Dan M is settling the debate. Reuters is like routers. Thank you, Dan. That's a great way to spell it out for us. Routers. Okay, and yeah, just something else as well. I wouldn't, any comments like this are scams, probably. That's probably a scam. I don't know who that company is, but this is just it's the middle of a bull market. I might just like to point that out to anyone. If you see any comments like this, please do not press the links. Do not send anyone you don't know Bitcoin unless they're a trusted company. Ask a Bitcoiner like myself. If you have any questions first, just like to point that out. We can obviously delete that comment after this live stream, but I always like to make sure you guys are safe and sound, okay? So you got the full Samson Mow interview, link down below. Producer Pants put in the link of the live chat if you guys missed that video. And with all that said, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to see you guys with a video tomorrow actually talking about whether I lost money or gained money by ripping up my real estate contract. I actually got approved for a home loan 7 years ago today, nearly to the date. And at the last minute, I decided to turn down that loan, literally ripping up the contract, put all that money in Bitcoin. So I've actually ran the numbers for a video for you guys. That is being released tomorrow, so keep an eye out for it. And I'm not just looking at the performance of the Brisbane real estate market. That is where I was going to buy my home, Australia's third largest city, Brisbane. But But I also look at the housing markets in London, Canada, LA. I tried to pick the best performing housing markets, and I wanted to see whether they actually do outperform Bitcoin or not. So with all that said, guys, stay tuned for that video. That drops tomorrow. I know it's going to trigger some people because when I say real estate is a shitcoin, Bitcoin's the only thing you should have your wealth in, people get a little bit triggered. So stay on the lookout for that video. It's going to be an interesting one. The conclusion that I came to in that video might actually surprise you guys. So with all that said, stay tuned for that. And thank you to everyone who joined today. Again, a very lively chat. Thanks, McLovin. Thanks for joining. Rex Owner looks like he's buying the cheap sats. Very, very nice. And with all that said, we have to move apartments. We have to pack up and move. We're going to go get dinner with our buddy, and you're going to see us in a new setup tomorrow. And I promise you, it's going to be the best setup you've ever seen. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that live stream. I'm going to end